What is up, my veggies? My name is VeggieTales Rayman, and welcome back to another movie review. And today we're going to be reviewing a movie from my childhood that's on Netflix, and I decided to give it a watch. And I haven't seen this movie in years, so I decided to sit down and give this movie a watch today. And I didn't plan on reviewing it. I just thought, hey. But then when I started watching it, I was like, I need to review this. Why haven't I reviewed this yet? And yeah, there's a lot to say. So the movie we're reviewing today, I'm already 40 seconds into the video, and I haven't even mentioned what the movie is. We are reviewing the movie Hoodwinked. Now, if any of you have ever seen this movie, it's pretty old. It came back out in 2005. It's not 2019. This is a movie that was movie we had on DVD for a long time, and we would just watch it like all the time, all day, every day. It was one of those movies like, you know, when you're a kid, you have these group of movies that you always watched, and this was one of them. Like with us when we were younger, it was like this, Chicken Little, Shrek, and some other stuff here and there, a bunch of Scooby-Doo movies, but this is one I remembered. I clearly, even more watching this, I didn't remember it as well as I thought I did, because looking at it now, so much I notice differently now than I never did back when I was little. So there's a whole bunch of, this is kind of an anthology thing where there's like these 4 or 5 different stories, but it's like they're all intertwined, and there's basically from each character's perspective. It's basically a turn on fairy tale characters, which it kind of tries to pull a Shrek, but it doesn't pull a Shrek. And it's fun for what it is. It could have been way better, but it also could have been way worse. Now, I don't think this movie's great. Not in the slightest. I guess you could probably say it's just okay. Usually movies like this, it looks like one of those movies that the Asylum would make. Those bad CGI awful movies. And looking back at this, even at the time this movie was made, the animation is not good. Now, on certain characters, the animation works. Like, there's a goat character in here where it works for him mostly, and it actually makes a lot of sense. But there's a lot in this movie that just doesn't work. It's not fun. It's not funny at some points, but there is some fun things to this movie. But a lot of the stuff that they do with this movie, it could have been done way better. And just the fact, and in my opinion, it does seem very cheaply made. There's really no excuse for these cheap animations just to save money. And would you rather spend more money and have a more quality product, or spend less money and turn out a piece of crap? Now, this movie, it has some good potential, but there's a lot in it that just didn't work. And surprisingly, when I checked Rotten Tomatoes, it has a higher rating than I thought it would. It has I think a 47, and I'm surprised by that. I thought it would be much lower. Which is cool by me. Very cool by me. It's cool by me. But the movie, like, I really wouldn't say I love this movie. I guess I have a little bit of bias. This is from my childhood. But for some reason, there's some stuff in this that just doesn't work. And it's not, look, the villain is surprising and it is good. But then when you actually look down and break it down, it's kind of obvious, just to an extent. I do like the twist on some of these characters, like the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood and the Lumberjack. I really do like this whole twist on Little Red Riding Hood. That's basically what the whole movie is, the whole twist on Little Red Riding Hood with some stuff going on. And there's this, like, the version, getting back to the animation, The one part of this movie's animation that actually works the best is this frog character. I think it's Mr. Flippers or Officer Flippers or something like that. It works the best with him. I don't know why it doesn't look as bad as it does as some of the other characters. But for some reason, the character that looked the worst to me, had to be the human characters. Like Red didn't look that good in most shots. Like there were some shots here and there where she looked all right. Granny had more shots where she looked all right, but still there were some times where she looked really bad. And the Schnitzel guy, whatever his name was, he looked bad in most of the shots he was in, like super bad. Like when he has this little song segment, there's a bunch of these little kids that show up and they look ugly as heck. I don't know if that was the intent to make these kids look super ugly and look like they crawled out of the depths of the underworld or whatever. It looked so bad, and like I literally wanted to gouge my eyes out looking at them. I was like, literally, ew. Those things are ugly and gross to look at. Those are not kids. Those are demons, and it's just. This movie is a mixed bag. Yes, I liked the villain. It was actually pretty interesting what they did with it. But he has like these henchmen in this movie that they look like they're human characters and they look like dolls. Like they literally look like dolls. And I'm like sitting there like, am I watching a bad stop motion film right now with dolls? And that doesn't. The animation is not great in this movie. I've seen way worse animation, but literally, like I said earlier, there's no excuse for the animation to be this bad except for the fact to save money. I guarantee. If I looked at the budget of this and it said like something like $5 billion or something, or $10 billion or something, I'd be like, I'm not too big on how the budgets of movies work, but I'm not gonna think this movie had a very big budget. For most, like for something like Pixar or like this movie is nowhere near Pixar quality. It's nowhere near Disney quality. It's nowhere near even Illumination quality. Like it's not the best. I've seen the backgrounds in this movie look really ugly. Like if you look at some of the backgrounds in this movie, like the ground and the trees look all right, but this movie did have potential to be something really, really interesting. And the fact that it just looked pretty ugly through most of the movie, it's really bad. And what they do with the story is really interesting. There's all these goodie shops or like bakery shops and all that, and all their recipes are going missing and they're having to close down because they don't have the recipes no more. And that's an interesting concept for a full-length film. It does seem a little underwhelming for a movie like that, but it's actually done in an interesting way, and it does have an actually good climax. The third act actually is pretty interesting, and there's actually, believe it or not, there are musical numbers in this, and honestly, I didn't remember this being a musical at all, and I guess because of how many are in here, I guess you could consider this a musical. There is actually, the opening song is actually really catchy, and I do like the villain song at the end. Around the third act, it's really nice. If you want to check this out, I could say I recommend it. I don't think this is a great movie. I just think it's okay. Definitely, I don't think I would be watching this anytime soon. But I thought, I haven't watched it since I was little, I'd give it a second viewing. And it's just, a lot of this movie just doesn't work. And the main flaw is the animation. That's just a big flaw with this movie is the animation. A lot of the times it's ugly to look at. Some characters are really, really ugly to look at. But like some other characters are really nice to look at. Like for example, the frog, like I mentioned, the big bad wolf's not bad to look at. Now there's this squirrel character who talks really fast. I forgot what his name was, but for the most part, he's all right. He's not in the movie as much as some of the other characters. He's not as prominent. He's not. There is a little running joke in the movie about how he doesn't drink coffee, but then he winds up drinking coffee and goes insane. It's really weird how this movie is done, and just a lot of this movie has more against it than for it. But for what it does have for it, it does bring interesting concepts. And really what's holding this movie back is bad jokes, some bad writing, and just bad animation. But there's just something about this movie. It's not even just childhood nostalgia, although that's a little bit of a factor. But there's just something about this movie where I can't say I hate it. There's just something about this movie where I cannot say I hate this piece of animation. There's just something about it that I just can't say I hate this movie. But that's really all I can say for this video, guys. I'm going to give a solid rating of 3 out of 5. I'm not going to give it a 4. I'm not going to give it a 2. I'm just going to go ahead and give it a solid 3 out of 5 rating. And it's just, this movie is just something that I think should be, I guess, viewed for yourself. I'd recommend it. I guess I'd recommend this film. But guys, I don't know what to tell you guys. This movie's weird, and I've seen much better than this. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!